Would you rather spend $14,000 in medications and doctor visits and insurance in less than a month or a year? Or would you rather take that same money and go on a trip, go on a cruise, go to another country, go visit somebody that you missed that you haven't seen before or in a long time? We have to weigh out what's important and what's not, what's good and what's bad. We have to weigh out our pros and cons. And the idea that, oh, we're going to die from something isn't good enough. It's just not good enough. If I'm going to die, let me die of natural causes. Don't let me die because I followed the leader and was mindless and jumped off a cliff, not realizing that it was a cliff because I was too busy looking at the person in front of me, trying to figure out where they're going so that I could get ahead of them. You see what I'm saying? We got to pay attention to these things. All right. And I don't mean to go on a soapbox or whatever, but when it comes to health, I am very passionate, very, very passionate, because health is something very important to me. When you have to deal with possible long-term chronic illness, health becomes an important situation if you have any desire to have a great quality of life. Now, I'm going to give you a few things, a few tips and some information on how to help your fatty liver. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say everybody has fatty liver. That's not what I'm going to say. What I am going to say is everybody somewhere along the line, you can be a person who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't. As long as you breathe the air outside, you have toxins in your system. As long as you eat food every day, you have bacteria, parasites, and viruses. As long as you walk out and you're talking to other people and you have to touch things, you have bacteria, viruses, toxins, parasites all over the place. They're everywhere. So it would behoove all of us to do a maintenance check on our body, specifically the liver, because that's what we're talking about today. I mean, I got stuff for every organ, but we're talking about the liver. And, adding these foods in a natural form, not frozen, pre-cut, pre-processed, a natural. If you can go to an apple orchard, those are the best apples you're going to find. They're going to taste different. They're going to feel different. Everything about them is different. And you're going to have more nutrients. You're going to have all the nutrients it's supposed to have in those orchards. Okay. And one thing that apples do is they help break down the toxins in the body, and they starve out bacteria, and they aid in digestion. Apples have fiber. Fiber pushes, the excess out of your intestines. So apples are a great thing. Like they used to say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. They weren't lying, because those apples were helping kill off the bacteria and the toxins that you're ingesting every day. And it's almost like, washing your hands, but just washing your insides just a little bit. Asparagus. Many people don't eat asparagus for whatever reason. Maybe they've never had asparagus. Maybe, it was made for them once and it wasn't the way that they liked it. My thing is this: anytime that there's a food that is healthy for me, that I've tried and didn't like, or looked at and was like, I don't think I would like that, I don't really want to eat it, I find a way to get it in my system. Like mushrooms. Yuck. The idea of a mushroom going into my mouth just skeeves me out. But you know what I've learned to do? I've learned to cook with them. I've learned that if you go and you order rice with vegetables, they're going to put those mushrooms in there. Those mushrooms, as long as they're chopped up small, I can eat them and kind of act like I don't see it. But that's just one of my mechanisms for helping me eat things that I know that my body can use. Okay. It's not about whether I like it. It's about how I get it in me by any means necessary. If I have to take beets I used to eat beets a lot when I was a kid, but they're so earthy. It almost tastes like you're eating dirt, with like a sweet dirt. But if I get the beets or the beet juice and I pour it in with my smoothies, I taste it a little bit, but the rest of the fruit and the vegetables kind of overpower that that taste, and the sugar from the strawberries and the berries and, mangoes that I throw in there is kind of balanced out because of the earthiness of the beets. So again, another way that I just force myself to eat things that I don't want to eat. So again, going back to the asparagus actually boosts liver functions and it lowers bloating and gas. So if you're a gassy type person, asparagus might be your friend. If you got to go out tomorrow night and your stomach is a little bloated, you might want to eat a little bit of asparagus. You can chop it up, put it in your eggs for an omelet. You can, first thing in the morning if you want to. I don't eat eggs, but that's a whole nother health tip talk. You can drop it in, drop it in a pan. Throw a little bit of seasoning on it. Saute it down, chop it up, eat it. You can soft boil it. And what I mean soft boil, don't boil it till it's slimy. Just make it warm on the inside and eat it. That way all of your nutritional factors are still inside the food. You can eat it raw. Chop it up, throw it on your salad. That's good too. It's all in learning how to reprogram our bodies and our minds to eat, because little known fact, food that's served on a blanket level, i.e. your fast foods, i.e. your Lay's potato chips with the bet you can't eat just one, and things like that. They're laced with sugar. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. There is a chemical reaction that goes off in the brain whenever you eat it. So you can't just eat one. You can't just eat just a little bit and walk away. You can't do it, because once it attaches that chemical reaction inside of you, now you want it. That dopamine, you want it, you want it, you want it, you want it. But the trick is to slowly wean yourself off. Okay. And I have a habit of, giving comparisons so that you can understand better the severities of situations. So I'm going to use one right now. A heroin addict. You can't just go cold turkey off of that drug, because it could hurt you more than, if you keep taking it at that point. Your body goes into a certain level of shock and it will shut things down. It's basically the same thing with sugar. You can't do it. You have to wean yourself off and change the way that you're doing things and change how you're doing it and how you're introducing it to the body. And now, if you are an applesauce type of person, like your kids, they love applesauce, switch it up. Give them some regular apples. Take them to the orchard. And that's one of the best ways to get kids to eat well. If they are able to go out and see how it's made, how it's grown, things like that, take them to a farm, let them run around, pick some green beans and let them wash it off and taste how sweet a green bean is when you pull it out of the ground. Let them taste what an apple really tastes like. Let them taste what berries really taste like straight off the vine. That will change the dynamics of their eating habits, because they'll grow to say, I know the difference and now I want that. And if you slowly push them in that direction, removing all of the bad foods, they'll be healthier in the long run, and they won't have to live with fatty disease. They won't have to live with diabetes and eczema and psoriasis and autoimmune disease and all of these other things. You see what I'm saying? Because if we didn't grow up with it, why should they? Celery. Now, a lot of people think celery is just a garnish. Celery is like life, I can say. Celery is a liver protector. Okay. It actually fights viruses and bacteria and helps the body get rid of toxins. So it's basically like Dawn dish detergent in your organs. You see what I'm saying? It's going in there and it's naturally like, you can't stay there. Come on, let's go. Scrub it out, scrub it out, scrub it out, scrub it out. And I know that a lot of people have heard about this new thing, this new crave that they've got with the celery smoothies every morning, dropping the celery into the juicers and drinking it straight down. And they do it for 10 days and they They say, I want to know how it feels. Well, guess what? You're not going to know how it feels if you're still eating the same foods and you're still doing the same thing, adding those same toxins to the body. The celery can't do anything. So I'll give you a recipe for a celery smoothie and see how you like that. Cucumbers. I love cucumbers. Cucumbers taste great. I put them in my water. As a detox, I use fresh mint cucumbers and fresh lemon in spring water. Let it sit overnight in the refrigerator. Get up the next day and sip on it all day long. You can make a whole pitcher of it and it'll last you at least a day or two. And trust me, it pushes toxins out of your body like nobody's business. It is awesome. It tastes great too. You can try that. And what it does is it lowers bloating, hydrates the liver, again, helping the liver, and it thins the blood so that it can process better in the body. Okay. So you're doing a few things with cucumber. All right. Spinach. I love spinach. Popeye all day long. I eat spinach raw with no problem. I make a salad using a bed of spinach because I love spinach. The taste of it is delicious. The way I feel when I'm eating it, my body feels better when I'm eating things like that. And what it does is it helps the liver convert fat to energy, which is again why you feel better, because when you eat a bed of spinach in a salad, you know, you're going to get up. You're not going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel like, wow, okay, I just got a nice cool shower. I'm good to go. You know, you're going to have that energy. And because it is comprised the way that it is, we'll go into the scientific parts of it a little later. The body can process it and your energy lasts longer. It's not like eating carbs where you get that one big burst. The spinach is going to actually slow boat you. It kind of like cruise control, and you're going to stay there. You see what I'm saying? So definitely add your spinach. And finally, wild berries. Wild berries help speed up toxins transport through the system so that, you know, if let's say you went out last night and you drank a few too many, you know, that feeling, that feeling that your insides don't really belong to you anymore. They're kind of like pickled, the best way I can put it, because nothing feels right on the inside when you have had too much to drink. You know, berries actually will help your body push those toxins through your system quicker so that it can get out of you. When I say wild berries, we're looking at strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, boysenberries, you know, all of those things. You know, you want to have those in there. And it also helps you get rid of excess fluid. So let's think about it. If you're having apples to break down the toxins and to starve the bacteria and aid in the digestion, the asparagus is going to boost the liver function to help the apples break down the toxins and to starve the bacteria, and it lowers the bloating and the gas. Then you add on top of it the celery to protect the liver and fight viruses and bacteria and secrete excess toxins. Then you throw in a little bit of cucumber to lower the bloating and hydrate the liver, thin the blood, so the spinach can come behind it and help convert that fat to energy. And then the wild berries will speed up the transport of all of those toxins that's in your system and get them out of the body with the excess fluids. Now, what is that going to do? All of that is going to help you not feel sluggish and heavy and bloated and gassy and that feeling that you get. Now, if you ask me, all of this stuff, in all honesty, I throw all of it in a blender together, and I will actually eat it during the day as well. Because when I get up in the morning, my regimen is first thing in the morning, I start with a cup of water with lemon, room temperature. Because what's that going to do is that's going to flush out any toxins that was left over from last night that build up in my system overnight while I'm asleep. That's going to push it out. And then 30 minutes later, I'll come back and I'll add a smoothie. Now, my smoothie, like I said, I throw everything that grows into my smoothie. If it grows in the ground or on a tree, it's going in the smoothie. Bananas, apples, boysenberries, blueberries, strawberries, pineapples, mango.